Welcome to the Sports Post Podcast. Jag Maggot. You guys know me. If you don't, then you know what to do. Subscribe to all my channels, every single one of them, all 600 of them. I'm just kidding. I don't have 600 channels. So Friday night in the NBA and NHL, and we have about 5-6 games in the NHL and about say 7 or 8 games in the NBA. NBA just returning from their All-Star game a couple of days ago, or sorry, last weekend, and they just started up with a plethora of games yesterday. And obviously, it's Thursday night in the NBA. It's a big deal, yada yada yada. But tonight in the NBA, we got the Lakers taking on the Pacers. Jazz looking to solidify their number one spot. They are playing tonight. I completely forgot who it is, but I will tell you. You got the Jazz, or sorry, you got the Grizzlies taking on the Nuggets right now. Nuggets are, you know what? After the bubble, I thought Nuggets were amazing. Nuggets are just like unbelievable. But then, start of the season, I was like, not so much. Maybe they're just like they came alive during the playoff time. But Nuggets are struggling, and yeah, it's just I keep saying this. They should not have let Jeremiah Grant go. They should have at least kept him, and so what if you have to spend a little luxury tax? I'm sure these owners have the money to do so. They just don't want to, but whatever. That's another story for another day. Also, you have the 76ers. They're playing tonight in a pretty good matchup. Seth Curry, this guy, like, I can't say anything bad about this guy. This guy's phenomenal. So, like, Steph Curry's younger brother, I know he had his time in Dallas and whatnot, and he learned his ways. But this year is just amazing for him. He is, I don't think he's coming off the bench, but he's a pure shooter, just like Steph Curry was, and still is. Speaking of Steph Curry, in case anyone missed it, he went off on his team last night because they just got killed by the Clippers. So make sure you check out that. I'm sure it's on Instagram, Facebook, TSN highlights, ESPN highlights, whatever the case may be. It's all over. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the NBA. Also, the Rockets are playing. I think they're actually playing the Jazz, but that's just Rockets. Another team that is drama city right now because Eric Gordon, he's out with an injury. I'm pretty sure he wants out. I'm pretty sure PJ Tucker has played his last game because he pretty much is frustrated because he's not being shipped off to a contending team. Rightfully so, but yeah, no, I guess it's a players' league. You don't see this kind of stuff happen in the NFL or NHL. You see this kind of stuff that happens in the NBA. Any player can demand a trade, and let's just say if it happened in the NBA, or sorry, NHL, then whatever, nothing would happen. Well, something would, but not to the extent where, for example, James Harden wanted out, and all of a sudden he gains like 20 pounds and yada yada yada, and is at every strip club and forgets about training camp, and you don't hear about that kind of stuff in the NHL or NFL, but whatever. So regardless, PJ Tucker, look to see him on the move. OKC Thunder made a trade with Detroit. I would tell you about it, but I cannot pronounce their names. I know how sad that is, but it just I can't pronounce their names. Sorry, but I'll go over them on the podcast when I can actually read it. Even then, when I read it, it's still I'll like 80% chance I'll pronounce it wrong, but that's just I know one guy was Svi, that guy off the Lakers that got traded to Detroit. I think the other guy is Diablo. So Diablo got traded to the Pistons, and Svi and the second rounder got traded to OKC. Like, it's not groundbreaking, but It's yeah, it's a trade. I think it's the first trade close to the deadline. Deadline's 25th, and so, you know, it's it's something. And I'm pretty sure Adrian Wojnarowski reported that. Nobody's really jumping off their seats because it's just a whatever trade. Speaking of trades, if I'm the Lakers, I gotta make a trade because at the end of the day, you're competing with the Nets, and the Nets are just a phenomenal team right now. They beat the Celtics last night, and I just can't see anybody beating these guys. They're just that damn good. And Kyrie went off for something like 40 points, and all of a sudden Stephen A. Smith is saying, "Hey, yeah, Kyrie Irving should be involved in the MVP talks." I'm like, come on, man. This guy is just—he's not an MVP. Like, he's just a scorer. That's it. The guy has so much drama behind him. He's not an MVP. But the big thing is, hypothetically speaking, if if the Nets won the championship, who would become Finals MVP? If it was Harden, and he's playing out of his mind, if Harden got the MVP in the finals, I can guarantee you Kevin Durant would cry like a baby. He's so insecure. He wants to be the best in the world, and quite frankly, he would he would not like it. And there's more drama right there. So it just Kevin Durant is, if you take a look at it, I think some person posted on Twitter, what happened to you 10 years ago. You said you wanted to compete, and his response, because he responds to everything, his response was a new decade happened. Like, I don't know. Kevin Durant is just, if he's secure about himself, he doesn't really have to respond to people, just like jobbers off the internet and stuff. But he's so insecure that he has to respond to jobbers off the internet. So whatever, like, you do your thing. If that makes you happy, that makes you happy. Move over to the NHL. NHL is a couple games. Ottawa taking on Edmonton. Ottawa looking for revenge over their 7-1 loss to the Oilers. So that is tied to one apiece. I think that's in the second period. I'm not 100% sure. Also, you have the Golden Knights taking on St. Louis Blues, and they're up 3-1. The Golden Knights, and they are looking to make some damage, make some noise in the standings because Carolina won last night, and Toronto and the Lightning are battling it out, kind of thing too. So it's anybody's well, not ball game, but anybody's game in the standings if you count those four teams, and also the Panthers. Like, you can't forget the Panthers. Panthers are still in the hunt for that top spot too. So yeah, take a look at that and watch this game right here. It's pretty good, but I'm watching the Lakers game because I'm a Lakers guy. If you don't like it, well, too bad. It's my show. So at the end of the day, it's just whatever it is, what it is. Jag Mangit for the Sports Post podcast, and make sure you tune into the podcast later tonight, which I'll do in about 1 minute, and I'll go over everything that needs to be went over, and all the scores, and I'll also make sure I'll try to pronounce those names right in that trade, the blockbuster trade that happened between OKC and Detroit. So this is Jag Mangit for the Sports Post podcast.